This is Real Talk with Pastor Jackie. Once again, you're welcome back to today's episode. And it's so interesting. We started something last time on selfishness. It was so interesting where we had to unravel the depths, the mystery in depth on how you had to be dead to self for you to enjoy your marriage. And also we talk about the power of choices. The reason why you're selfish in marriage is just because of the choices you made. And to continue on selfishness today, how do we identify a selfish marriage? How do we identify selfishness in your marriage? How do we know that you're actually selfish? These are some of the things I want to bring on today, just like I started last week, and I want to bring it back again. And talking about selfishness, like I said, it all has to do about you, just like the name implies, selfishness. It all has to be about you. It has to revolve around you. It has to do, and you care less about the feelings, the ways, of your spouse. And one of the major reasons for divorce, separation, and brokenness in marriage today is selfishness. That's why we are looking deep into this topic and see how we can, help you to identify one in your spouse before it will destroy you and destroy your marriage. So we talked about death and choices. Today, we are looking at pride. That word pride is a very, very strong, strong factor that has really, really destroyed, so many marriages. Selfishness is not pride. Pride is pride. Let me tell you. The Bible said that where there is pride, there is strife. So if you have strife in your marriage, you have pride. If you have argument, that's what it means in your marriage, you have pride. If you have disagreement in marriage, there is pride. If you have quarrel in your marriage, that means the pride is there. If you have, bitterness in your marriage, it means pride is there. So whatever you are going through in your marriage, or whatever is the reason why you want to divorce, or the reason why you want to break that marriage, is bathed out of pride. There is hidden, there's a hidden thing called pride that is there. And the way I see pride there is very, very, unique. Pride simply means, a feeling of deep pleasure from your own achievement. Deep pleasure from your own achievement. That's one, major definition of pride. And when you look at it, the Bible says that where there is strife, there is pride. Where there is all manner of pride, there is all manner of contention. There is strife. That means pride is hidden there. And this pride is a deep feeling of achievement, from pleasure, deep pleasure from what you achieve. That means, it is about you. As long as you are happy, it is an achievement. That means you cheat on your wife, you're happy about it, it's an achievement, it's pride. So, and when you look at it, pride, just look at it, remove the PR and then remove the DE. What is in the middle? I. And that I has always been there from the beginning. That I has been the major problem in marriage. Remove PR, remove DE. That I, it's the major problem. That's why when you go to take your oath in marriage, you go by yourself. They say, I, your full name. Do agree, do solemnly swear. You don't, you take the oath all by yourself. And when, God created Adam, he created them, he created them, Eve, and then he brought them together to become one. That means that if you live in the flesh, you're two. But in Christ, there is no I. In Christ, there is we together, the three. So let us make man in our. So when it has to do with God, it is plural. And when it has to do with marriage, it is plural. It's and then ending up in singular. But the problem we're having today is that we are one, but two. For crying out loud, how can you? The Bible says that your body, you should be of one flesh with your spouse. Then it means that you are supposed to be one with this flesh. You now carry this pride pushed you. You know why? The reason why you are hurting your spouse is because you're a proud person. You know what a proud person means? It's somebody that does not, derive pleasure in the achievement, the joy, the happiness of others, but their own first. At times you say, people say, I'm not a proud person because I'm not arrogant. Do you know because you talk slow? Does that make a humble person? It's so funny how people think, yes, how are you? It's okay, the Lord bless you. That is not a signature. Let me use that word of humility. Because there are proud men that talk very slow. So that you're a slow talker does not mean you're not a proud man. And then there are some people who are not proud, but then they are, the way they are loud. So you can't say that, being loud make you arrogant and be slow make you humble. No. The only way a proud man is, a humble man is the man that understand and follow the words of the Lord as it is written. He said husband and wife reference one another. That means respect one another. Somebody who you respect, will you cheat on the person? Somebody you respect, will you lie on the person? Somebody you respect, will you deprive the person of what gives them pleasure? Erotic urges are there to make your spouse happy, not you. Erotic urges are there to satisfy the pleasure of your spouse, not you. Then now your spouse is demanding it from you. You say, no, I don't feel like it. It's okay when you're tired and your spouse understand. But when it becomes a consistent pattern, when you now use it in order to defraud and defraud your spouse, it becomes a problem. And so pride has set in. So there are so many ways we exhibit pride in a selfish way in marriage without us knowing. Do you know that there are some spouse, if it is not about them, it is not okay? The reason why they want to make that decision, because it has to be about them. It must project them. As long as it is projecting me, and I call those people, insecure freak. How can you be so insecure that you want everybody to accept you, even when your spouse is not comfortable with that person? As long as, it makes me happy. You hear them say, after all, I'm not doing anything. We're not having any affair now. We're just colleagues in the office. How does your spouse feel about the presence of that person in your life? You hear somebody say, no. There is no string attached. Who is looking for a string? If you are looking for a string, is it string they call it? Go to the hospital. There is no strings. But then, whether there is string attached or not, the question is, how does your spouse feel about that relationship? I'm talking so much about it because this is one of the major causes of separation that I'm handling today. How does your spouse, feel about your relationship with your friend? At times, it may not even be with the opposite sex. But because it is about your ego, it pampers your ego, pride. You are okay with it, and let your spouse die with it. That is selfishness, and that is why your spouse will get to a point where they cannot take it again and say, no, I am done. I can't take it again. Enough of it. I cannot go on with it again. And that is where problem comes on. And then finally for today, apart from, pride, one of the things, way that to know a selfish marriage is a marriage where competition rule instead of complimenting. Instead of complimenting your spouse, you're competing with your spouse. Do you know that there are some people who literally compete with their spouse? Talking to one spouse one day, he just looked at me and said, she wants to compete with me. We will see. And I was like, I can't just even figure it out. How can you compete with yourself? It's only a person who is not really mentally okay that should think that it is normal to compete with yourself. Does self compete with self? The Bible says, for this shall a man leave his father and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one. How can one compete with one? Does it make any sense? If it's a lie, please go and get an alphabet. Put letter 1 and letter 1, 2 letter 1 together like this. I'm so sorry. I wish I can have something to just make an illustration here. And then imagine if I have same of these two. How will they compete with each other when the manufacturer make everything the same? Same color, same line, same everything. And that is how you are in the spirit with your spouse. So where does the competition come from? It means that you are so full of selfishness that you don't even realize that you and your spouse are one. So it favors me. It's okay. This thing is okay. Then instead of complimenting your spouse, you begin to compete with your spouse. Your spouse does this, and then she's being loved, and then she's being celebrated. The next thing you carry yourself, you want to go and do the same thing, my dear. It's not wisdom, because if they celebrated your spouse, they celebrated you. If they celebrated you, they celebrated your spouse. And it is because of competition, instead of complimenting, that external factors have found their ways into your marriage today. The moment, let me tell you this, married men, the moment and the opposite sex, the moment a lady, let me make it so real now, since this is real talk, discover at any point that you and your wife does not agree on anything, she doesn't love you, but she'll come in. The moment she understands that you don't agree in your choices, in your decision, in your outfit, in your going out, in your, relationship with each other, in any area, even in the food you eat. That's why you need to be careful, those of you that are keeping house girls in the house. The moment your housemaid discover that you and your husband does not agree on a certain food, she will come in. That is how the devil does. The day he discovered that Eve and Adam did not agree in going out together, he came in. And where did it end today? Me and you falling. We are now living in a fallen world until Christ came to redeem us again. So don't ever, the moment you show the devil that you are competing and not complimenting, you have told him, Satan, come. And let me make it, if there's anyone that competes in the marriage, that's the one with insecurity and low self-esteem. And that's the selfish one. You need to work on it. Because I don't understand why your wife dresses well. Instead of you to compliment your wife, you now go and start buying suits. You went outside because your wife is wearing, bling, shouting things, and people, are liking her. Any time you go out with your wife, and people say, oh, she's so beautiful. Your wife is so beautiful. Oh, this is so fine. I love this. The next thing you carry your hand and you start going to buy pink, yellow, blue, green suit. Is that okay? Something is definitely wrong with you. There is something that you need to check about your mental health, because I don't understand why they should compliment your wife and you've become insecure. You know why? You have problem of selfishness. You're running in your marriage and it's just a matter of time. How can your wife get an award? How can your wife or your husband be applauded in his office? He did so much. He was recognized. Your husband, was appreciated. He came back home excited and everybody is calling you, said, your husband is a superhero. Do you know how he pulled this through? We couldn't even resolve that issue in the office, but see how your husband managed it. This is how your husband, or they come and tell you, your husband is one of the most dedicated staff we have. When it comes to this, then you start feeling insecure. You are selfish. The next thing, you are trying to, instead of complimenting him and doing so much for him at home so that he can do more, you now, because of your selfishness, begin to overdo in the house till you are fainting and say that, he need to come and call, he need to come and start praising you because you are competing. Yes, since your own office is in the house, then when you do, you want to die. And the man is so busy trying to win trophy for us, not him. And he's not seeing it. The next thing I say, can't you see what a wicked man you are? With all the effort I'm putting, you're not even, I am leaving because I'm not being appreciated. Appreciate what? How can you appreciate you? How can you compete with you? You should appreciate you because you are together. When we look at it, are you actually complaining because you're not being appreciated? Or you're complaining because you are competing with your husband? I'm so sorry to say that there's a lot of competition going on today in our marriages. There is a lot of, how do I put it now? A lot of argument, a lot, because there is so much self-centeredness. There is so much self-centeredness in marriages today because we are competing instead of complimenting. We compete with the way we keep friends. We compete with our spouse, with our careers. We compete with our achievement. We even compete sometimes with our spirituality. It's so funny. We compete. When a man begins to tell his wife that, don't you think I'm the man? I am the man here. You are supposed to take order from me, not from you. That man has lost it. I'm telling you, he's full of selfishness, because you should know that we're supposed to be one together. And when a woman begins to, remind the man, you need to love me, you are supposed to love me, you need to love. Let's check. You are very selfish. Do you even love your own self? So we have so many loveless marriages today because selfishness have come to take over your home. And the bad thing about this thing is that if you do not work on it, like I said, every human being is a potential selfish person. You know why? You were born into selfishness. You were trained into selfishness. You grow up in selfishness. And if you do not control it, you are passing selfishness into your children. And that is why we have a pattern of generational selfishness ruling in marriage. And we are having many marriages struggling today, separating today, can't even stand today, because selfishness have come to rule. But this is not the plan of God. And it is my prayer that you don't allow the devil to kick you and eat you up like a popcorn and then break you apart. Because the moment you do that, you have allowed him to destroy you completely. It is my prayer that you allow God to help you, because selfishness will ruin your marriage. And if you allow pride, you allow competition to step into your marriage, you are gradually killing the marriage. It is a matter of time, it will die. So I ask you a question today before I go off your way. What are you competing with your spouse? It's emotions, mindset, career, finances, dressing. There are so many things that you're competing with your spouse. Ego, so many things, achievements that you are competing with your spouse over. And until that is handled, you will definitely have problems in your marriage. But I pray for you that God will keep you, give you the wisdom in order to understand how to run away pride. I pray that God will help you. Well, this is where we end this episode today, and I hope to see you again next time. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit the like button, and also don't forget to join me on Facebook. Listen to me on Facebook every Thursday as I bring the real talk your way. It is Pastor Jackie, and we talk it real. I am the real talker, and I thank you for listening to me. God bless you. Thank you.